When you hear this rant, you are going to understand why the CBC, CTV, all of the other networks and papers paid for by the PMO will not cover it, which is why we want your donations to stay on the air. Because people, Canadians, need to understand the issues that are being put ahead of them. And the big issue right now is that Canadians need an election. They deserve an election. The Prime Minister and his government have been way, way down in the polls, every poll, not just a selective one, for at least 2 years. And unlike the Toronto Star, the CBC, who say, well, it's just because he's been there for a long time. And actually somebody on the CBC said the other day, just because you don't like him doesn't mean you shouldn't vote for him. You should still vote for him because he's a wonderful prime minister. What garbage. People don't like this government because they don't like the policies. They don't like the carbon tax. They don't like the high cost of living. They don't like seeing 20-year-olds drugged out with government drugs on the street. I could go on and on and on about all the policies that people don't like, which is why Canadians need an election, which is why they deserve an election. Now, the Prime Minister is in BC with his caucus, trying to get support, and he announced that Mark Carney is going to be a special advisor on the economy. Mark Carney, advisor to all kinds of big, rich corporations around the world, including the World Economic Forum. He's a director of the World Economic Forum, along with our Deputy Prime Minister and Minister of Finance. Do you not think there's a conflict there? And Mark Carney, upon his appointment, said, this Liberal government has done wonderful things for Canadians, and I want to continue to help it do wonderful things for Canadians. What a bunch of baloney. The great majority of Canadians think this government has been doing terrible things to them. And in a democracy, especially when you lose the people who have been propping you up in a minority government, as the NDP, Jampreet Singh, they have departed their ways, as have so many allies of the Prime Minister, good ministers, good members of Parliament, say, we've had it with him. And some have said, we wish we had never met that man. So whether it's personal, whether it's because of the policies, whether it's because he has so many people in cabinet now with conflicts, either their private business that they're sending government business to, or the World Economic Forum, we need an election. And so many people say to me, well, I just don't like the Conservative leader that much. And I say to them, well, if you don't like Trudeau an awful lot, there's one alternative. So let's give him a try. That's what democracy is all about. There are good people in the Conservative Party, and they have different policies than this liberal progressive. It's not a Liberal Party anymore. It is a socialist progressive party. And when we come back to democracy again, my point is, Canadians deserve an election. And the government not run by a guy who just wants to add to his failed policies because he likes all the perks of the offices. The Prime Minister says, I'm going to continue to work for Canadians. My point to the Prime Minister, please don't. We can't take any more of it. That's 3 minutes.
To those of you who have subscribed and donated, a heartfelt thank you. You're keeping us on the air. If you're watching and you haven't, please try to do so, because 4 years ago we started this show because there needed to be independent analysis. Now more than ever, with the Online Harms Act, once that gets into law, it's been passed once by the House, there are going to be hundreds of bureaucrats censoring the news in Canada, censoring this show. We need to keep it on the air. Thanks for your support.